Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of At the Bar, hosted by yours truly, Ryan Carter. This week, we'll be venturing back into the world of whiskey with a relatively simple drink known as the Boulevardier. Now, that loosely translates to man about town, and the drink actually has a very simple, basic origin. It was created by a man named Erskine Gwynn, the publisher of Boulevardier, which was a magazine for expats living in Paris during the 1920s. The drink became much more popular in 1927 when Harry McElhone published the book Barflies and Cocktails, in which he credited the cocktail to Gwynn, who was a regular at his bar. Very simple story, nice little bow on it, nobody's refuting it, and much like the story, the drink is also very simple. It's a play on a Negroni, which we've done before on the show. It's gin, Sweet Vermouth, and Campari. The only difference in this drink is that you use whiskey instead of gin. Now, you can use whichever whiskey you prefer, but most people recommend using bourbon because it is typically a little bit sweeter and combines well with the sweetness of the Sweet Vermouth. The Negroni is a little bit more of a bitter, biting drink. It's got that kind of, you get the juniper flavor from the gin, so it combines with the Campari, which is a bitter liqueur, and it creates a good drink. I like it a lot, but it's definitely more of a biting drink, whereas the Boulevardier is a much warmer, kind of happy, fulfilling drink in my opinion, but I'm a little biased. I prefer whiskey anyways. So let's go on. Goodness gracious. Let's go on over to the bar and see how to make this one. Okay, so the Boulevardier is very simple and straightforward like we said on the video. We're just going to go ahead and start off with our bourbon. Personally, I like Jim Beam. If I'm really being honest, if I'm going to go with bourbon and I'm going to just buy something that's easy and off the shelf, I'll probably get Jack Daniel's. But Jim Beam was on sale and it's not bad. Maker's is also another excellent option for mid-shelf whiskey, specifically bourbon. So we're going to put an ounce of bourbon in our shaker. Put a little extra splash if you want to really get that bourbon flavor in there. And then we're going to put an ounce of Sweet Vermouth. These two combine very nicely to make a nice, bring out the sweet flavors in that bourbon. And then last but not least, we're going to top it off with an ounce of Campari, which kind of functions like bitters do in an old fashioned. I've never actually drank the liqueur by itself because that seems like a bad idea because it's very bitter, but it smells almost just like Angostura bitters. Now we're going to go ahead and shake that. Shake it real good like we say. And the nice thing about this drink is there's no gin in it, so you don't have to worry about bruising your gin. But then we're just going to pour it straight on into our old-fashioned glass that has a little bit of ice in there. And if you have one on hand, you can go ahead and toss an orange slice or an orange rind on there. I don't, so a fun little trick. Angostura orange bitters tastes pretty much just like orange flavor. So if you want to get a little bit of an orange flavor in there, I would say just add maybe 2 or 3 little dashes of bitters just to give you that orange flavor. If you don't have an orange. If you do, just go ahead and cut a little piece off of the peel of the orange and put it in there as a garnish. Makes the drink look pretty and also gives it a nice little flavor additive. All right, let's see how this tastes. Oh yeah, that's good. So the Campari definitely shines through there a little bit. That bitter flavor really speaks out through the Sweet Vermouth and the bourbon, but unlike the Negroni, it doesn't have really a whole lot of other bitter flavors to grab onto. So you get a little bit of the bitterness on your swallow, but the lingering flavors is kind of sweet, warmer feeling. I think the next time I make it, I'd probably do 1.5 ounces of bourbon, just so you get a little bit more of that whiskey flavor in there. But honestly, this is a fantastic drink. It's easy to make. It's something that you can just have plenty of these things on hand, relatively cheap and inexpensive to do. So hopefully you enjoyed, and cheers.